Hey everybody, it's Colton from MMOHuts.com here with our review of Happy Dungeons by Toylogic for the Xbox One. Happy Dungeons is a new free-to-play 4-player beat-em-up with some really heavy RPG elements thrown into the mix. It's very reminiscent of games like Dungeon Fighter Online or Ruby in its structure. Players team up to crawl through instance stages on different quests, some story-related, some not, and it more or less all boils down to go to this place, punch the people that don't look like you, get the stuff. Players choose between one of three classes. You can be a warrior, cleric, or mage, and each one has their own unique spells and abilities they can use, and very character-specific sets of gear. Full disclosure, warriors are my favorite class. They have a really speedy normal attack and a lot of hard-hitting armor-breaking moves, like they've got a big giant smash, and they can do a lot of rapid dash attacks with multiple hits. It's very straightforward. You can equip shields with them and block and absorb damage, but I never really found myself using that much. Given the right equipment, like a spear or a lance, they have a really wide attack range, so they can hit things that are farther away, and they have a really nice wide sweep. These are a great class for people that like to get up close and do big damage. Cleric is probably the worst class in the game. They're supposed to be the tank support class, so they have really high defensive stats, and they can heal themselves and allies. They have a big AoE heal, single target stuff. It's pretty good. But their slow attack speed, relatively low damage output, and their poor mobility, beyond rolling that is, really take away from the experience and make them a terrible class for solo play. Now, the poor mobility beyond rolling is a problem that everyone has in this game. The clerics get it kind of worse because I feel like their walk speed feels slower, but everyone in this game walks so slow it made me want to rip my teeth out. I found myself rolling everywhere to get anywhere in any kind of speed. Mages are exactly what you'd think they are. Their standard attack is really poor, but they make up for it with really good single target and huge AoE spells that do lots of damage. They also trade their ability to equip shields like warriors and clerics can do for the ability to shoot magic bolts rapid fire with the right trigger, and it does a lot of damage. Basically makes it pointless to use their melee attack ever. They also get buffs that they can equip to use on themselves and their friends, like fire weapon or lightning weapon, and it doubles the mage's auto attack output. If you're using the magic bolt, I did 2.5 times the damage I was doing with the regular bolts just by throwing on fire weapon. Their auto attack and their spells do use ability points, much like anybody's abilities in the game, but their damage makes it so worth it. Mages are great if you like to stand back and just blast the crap out of things. The gameplay as a whole is what you'd expect from a free-to-play game. You go through stages, they're rough, grid-shaped maps in most cases. You beat up the bad guys, you break the barrels, you get the stuff. A lot of elements are borrowed from forebearers of the genre, especially DFO, where with the grid-style maps, you can try to go right to the exit, but if you explore more of the map, you're rewarded with more XP and more items, or more chances to get items, I'll say. But that really does kind of allow you to set your own pace, which is one of the things I did like about the game. If I want to play it in short bursts, I can get a couple of maps in, I can rush for the exit in each one, we can barrel through for progress, and then I can put it down. If I really want to play a long session, I can take my time, we can explore every inch of the grid before we move on to the next stage, and that really maximizes our chance for money and currency, so it really does let you set your own pace for it, which is nice. The game features a fair amount of customization as well. Your character level is static across all of your classes, so you don't have to level up individual classes, which is beautiful, because this game does get a little repetitive after a while, which is why I enjoy playing in small bursts. This kind of helps me maintain that stance, because I don't have to go back in and repeat over and over the same stages to level up different classes. New equipment falls pretty much out of every crack you can see on the screen. I've found myself getting a few pieces of gear at least through every stage. Once you get your hands on something shiny, though, you can bang all of your crappy items against it until it gets better with the item upgrade system. You sacrifice items you don't want, and you pay out some happy stars, which are the coins that you get throughout the game. They, too, fall out of everything, and your weapon or armor gets stronger. The higher the item level of the thing you're trying to upgrade, though, the more it costs to upgrade. So save the upgrades for your really rare and powerful weapons and armor. The last thing you want to do is spend it all on some junk you found in the tutorial level and then realize later down the line that you got this epic that now you don't near have enough money or items to upgrade with. The in-game shop does have a bit of a pay-to-win feel because the game, of course, has an in-game shop. You can buy kits of equipment for each of the game's classes that are definitely way more overpowered than any of the crap you find in the first 2 chapters of the game, at least, hands down. Full disclosure, I got a Founders Pack for this game, and I spent some gems on a Knight Pack for my Warrior, and I upgraded it with the stuff I found through the first chapter, and by the time I got to chapter 2, I was an unstoppable dunking machine and nothing was a challenge anymore. So if you're nervous about this game being pay to win, take what you want from that, because that is the experience that I had. Once I spent money, the game wasn't a challenge anymore. One of the game's more unique features is that you can spend money or use the in-game tickets that you find to unlock what are called happy cards. You open a booster pack of cards, you flip them over, you get items, some of them consumable, some of them gear, that you can equip to your characters. I opened 2 happy cards, and one of the happy cards that I got was a pretty rare piece of armor. It was way better than anything I had found except for the knight armor that I bought from the shop, but even its base stats were close. So it really is a crapshoot. It's random, but if you do get something way better, great. If not, you have the potential to spend a bunch of money on something that might not pay off. All in all, I don't see myself ever using this feature, and unless you're a gambler or unless you're really lucky, I don't recommend using the Happy Card feature with real money. All in all, Happy Dungeon feels like a really well-executed mashup of Dynasty Warriors and Little Big Planet. It's a fun time sink in small sessions, especially if you can round up friends. I know I pulled a friend into our stream and we had a blast playing it for about an hour or 2. The frustrating movement speed and the relative lack of difficulty really kind of took me out of the experience a bit, but once you get past that, it's a really visually appealing game, and it really is fun to play, especially for a free-to-play game. I haven't had a lot of luck with those. Overall, I give Happy Dungeons for the Xbox One a, yeah, sure, why not, out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Happy Dungeon? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to the MMOHuts YouTube channel for all the latest gaming news.